Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below if you're so motivated to do so. This is Wonders of a Black Woman. Well, we all heard the strawberry letter from the Steve Harvey Morning Show today. And it was basically a heartfelt strawberry letter from Cheryl Strawberry and Steve quit a couple of weeks down the line. But Shirley, she came across like she was prostrating to Steve Harvey. And what I don't like about that is there was a private conversation between her and her husband, and she expressed how she felt. If she felt that Marjorie made her feel like the help, that's how she feels. And there's nothing to apologize for. You don't apologize for expressing how you feel. That's how Marjorie makes her feel. So, again, she is just an example of a woman who always thinks she needs to bow down, please, and apologize. Now, we all know that these phone calls that were released happened a while ago. These aren't recent conversations. But a blind person can see that this marriage was headed for a divorce. But the thing about women like Shirley, is that, as we heard in one of the recordings, Ernesto was telling her to walk away. Ernesto was telling her to rebuild her life. And she didn't want to do that. And most likely, in my opinion, the divorce is just a legality, because all of her personal assets can be taken as well. So she has to divorce this guy and sort things out. But you better believe she doesn't really truly want to, in my opinion. And of course, this video is my opinion. As far as Steve is concerned, we will be listening to clips from what Steve had to say earlier. But what struck me about Steve is, and also Shirley, is people always want to get on their high horse and talk about God this and God that. But you certainly aren't thinking about him when you're doing that dirty stuff that you're doing. And you want to talk about how you're favored and stuff like that. God favors us all. He favors us all. And we don't have to have a big bank account. And we don't have to have our faces all over TV in order for God to love us and show us favor. Maybe he's allowed you guys to have those types of things because he knows that that's what you need to be satisfied. Some of us are satisfied with the love of the Most High without anything else attached to it. And that's what true love is. So let's get into what this is all about.
It's one thing when we're dealing with gossip, rumor, and hearsay. That's one thing. I've dealt with this for years. But when it's not gossip and it comes from, a reliable source, then it turns into something different. And so, all of this trending stuff and all this here. And so after some deliberation, we got together. Now, here's the deal about this strawberry letter. I have no idea what Shirley's going to say. I told Shirley that.
Now, that has to be a lie. He has to know what she's going to say. She's obviously going to address the phone calls. She's going to have to address what she said about himself and Marjorie. So, it's not like he's totally clueless about what she's going to say.
That it was up to her how she wanted to address it. I did go along with this as an idea. I'm not saying I didn't do that, because we talked about it as a radio family and decided this may be the best way. Because it's no longer rumor. It's not gossip or anything. This is something that's really touching us all right now. And so, yeah, this is a strawberry letter. And like, I was, being sarcastic when I did the tease last week. The strawberry letter is, I didn't know, the subject was, I didn't know I was going to be my own letter. And, which is true. Now, oftentimes I joke about it because some of these letters sound like I was in it. But this one is. And so today, the way I'm going to do it, Shirley, I'm going to just let you talk.
Okay.
I think I think it's up to you to be as honest or revealing as you choose to be. Mm-hmm. We can talk about as much of it as you like, but I think it's an opportunity for
Let's
you.
Let's get on with it.
I want to apologize. It was since about
But this one is. And share your feelings on it, and then we'll have an exchange about it.
Okay. All right, Steve, I'm going to just start by saying that my estranged husband is in jail. He's been in jail for over a year since about right after the 4th of July of 2022. And recently, some phone calls from last year between he and I were leaked. And on those calls, you hear me saying you were winded going up the stairs at your home, and Marjorie looks at us as the help. And
now the first thing she wants to get into is addressing what was said about Steve. She doesn't want to address anything else about herself, her marriage, what's going on with Sheridan, how she feels, she wants to go on and prostrate and bow down to Steve first. And I get it. She doesn't want to get fired. Okay? Because if Marjorie's the bitch that she herself claims that she is, I know that they're trying to put forth an image and so forth and so on, but we all know that these celebrities' images that you see on TV and in the media is not who they really are. A lot of them are conceited. They think that they are gods of the earth because they have a little money and fame and all of that. So their attitudes are horrible. And anybody who's been around celebrities know that behind the scenes how some of these people really are. Some of them are genuinely nice, but a lot of them are just super egotistical and, bitches. And that goes for the male bitches and the female bitches. So, I mean, she has to prostrate to him first because obviously she wants to keep her job because she's broke pretty much. She doesn't really have shit. For all of the years that she's been in show business. That's why all that glitters isn't gold. For all the years she's been in show business, all of the fame she has and things like that, she really doesn't have shit. So she's just like anyone else out here who's probably living from check to check, needs to keep her job, and she's going to have to beg for her job. I'm sure she's cried in Steve's face and so forth and so on. If you look at the video of this apology that she's doing, it looks like she's reading something. So it's very well crafted.
Right here and now, I want to apologize to you and Marjorie for what I said. As much as I wish I could, I can't take it back. I can't. I said it.
Why would she want to? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If you hurt me, or if you say something that hurts me, or if you're treating me a certain way, and I feel that you are treating me that way, why should I apologize for expressing that? Why would I need to apologize for telling you how I feel and how you make me feel? And she and Steve have been friends long enough for her to be able to say, hey, your wife, I don't like how she treats me. She sort of treats me like I'm the maid or the help or the butler or the whatever. That's not cool. You know, didn't Steve know Shirley longer than he knew Marjorie? So they should be able to have honest conversations with each other.
Phone calls from last year between he and I were leaked. And on those calls, you hear me saying you were winded going up the stairs at your home. And Marjorie looks at us as the help. And right here and now, I want to apologize to you and Marjorie for what I said. As much as I wish I could, I can't take it back. I can't. I said it, and I want to apologize. It was definitely not me trying to add to what you and Marjorie already have going on in your lives right now. But the fact that these tapes were released, it does seem like everyone is coming to you, coming for you, I should say, at this time, including me. But in reality, the tapes have nothing to do with what you and Marjorie have going on. It was just me running my mouth in a private conversation, or what I thought was a private conversation. And again, I apologize. I feel terrible. I make no excuses. I said what I said, and there's no denying it. There's no taking it back.
Well, I mean, even it adds credibility to what people are saying about Marjorie and Steve's relationship. Because in a conversation that she thought was private, she gave insight into the dynamics of Steve and Marjorie's relationship and the dynamics of how Marjorie interacts with Steve's friends, in particular her. So, she is adding credibility to what is being said. So this having been said over a year ago, how Marjorie treats him like the help and how Steve is scared of her and this and that and so forth and so on. And now it's coming out that there's supposed to be trouble in paradise and a potential divorce, or she's been having several affairs and different things like that. It adds credibility to there was a storm brewing between the two of them all the way back then. So Steve's right. I mean, this is coming straight from someone who's close to them. This isn't some vlogger or blogger or gossiper. This is someone that is close to him saying that he is afraid of her and that they are in separate. There was a separation, or there was tension between Steve and Marjorie a year ago. And so with the divorce rumors and big boom coming out saying that, yeah, he's been banging Marjorie all this time, and someone else coming out saying that they don't even sleep in the same bedroom and this and that and so forth and so on. Look, I mean, it's their marriage. They can do whatever they want with their marriage. But at the same time, things hidden do come to the light eventually.
Back then, when the phone calls happened, I was trying to stand by my man, be supportive wife, I've been married to this man for 8 years. I had no idea that all this was going on with him. I had no idea. And the charges that he's facing are horrific. They are really bad. I for sure.
So she's saying she had no idea this stuff was going on with him. Well, I mean, she knew that he had a mistress living next door. She knew that her daughter was accusing him of inappropriate behavior. And then you hear in one of the prison tapes her defending Ernesto, saying how Sheridan used to follow him around everywhere. And she has video evidence of Sheridan following him around. So basically, you were willing to gather any evidence you could to defend him against the accusations that your daughter was making against him. You were on his team. You were Team Ernesto. So let's put the fraud stuff aside. Say you didn't know the fraud stuff was going on. You knew this stuff was going on with your daughter. You knew that. You knew that you guys were, you know that you guys were cutting out and trying to scam the landlord in one of the properties that you had in California that you rented out and got in there and coasted and didn't want to pay the rent until it was till you had to get legally evicted and sued.
Sure, did not want your name mentioned in any kind of way associated with my mess. So I had to call you. I had to tell you it was a hard call for me to make. But I called you.
I mean, she is Shirley Strawberry, who helps to co-host the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Not the Jack of All Trades show, not the Boo Boo the Fool show, not the Bleep Bleep I'm Sorry show. So of course his name is going to be associated with the scandal because she is a radio host, talk show host for the Steve Harvey Morning Show. So when you mention Shirley Strawberry, you're going to mention the Steve Harvey Morning Show because that is the show. It's not like she's a host on Entertainment Tonight or or the Shirley Strawberry Show. She's a co-host on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. So yes, his name will be mentioned.
And I want to clear something up, Steve. You did not introduce me to him. I met him through a friend. I should say an ex-friend now. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. I had to tell you, he was in jail. It was going to come out. I didn't want you to hear it from anyone else. I wanted you to hear it from me because I knew once the police and everyone, got involved, and they were already involved, and they found out who his wife was and who she worked with and all of that, and that's you, Steve Harvey, it would become, a real big story because it's your name. And like I told you, Steve, when I called you, I didn't want to call you. I mean, I was embarrassed. I was hurt. Mm-hmm. I felt so stupid and, I felt betrayed, humiliated,
Yeah.
It was just terrible. I mean, right. I kept saying to myself, how is this my life? Police and jail and all of this. It was just something that I didn't, I'd never experienced anything like this. The police came, they took my car. I was at the salon getting my hair done. They rolled up, took my car. I had to have my stylist take me home. I had to move in with friends. I lost my house. I lost everything. Oh, and I have to tell you this too. Like on the day, July 4th, we were having dinner with friends and we were going to watch the fireworks after that. And so the fireworks didn't happen that night because it was like a terrible, terrible storm. So the fireworks got canceled. Mm-hmm. And when I look back, I see now that was kind of a metaphor for what was about to happen in my life. Right. The thunderstorms were coming. They were coming. Mm-hmm. The next day was the last time I saw him. He was arrested the very, very next day. I didn't even know he was arrested. I couldn't get in touch with him later that day. Well, I'll tell you the rest later, how I got the phone call from jail and all of that. But we'll be back at 23 minutes after the hour with this live Strawberry Letter. You're listening.
Of her husband, the date that she discovered it. She's apologized for the things that was said about myself and Marjorie in the letter. I'm not responding right now. I'm allowing her to tell her story. Mm-hmm. I think it's important that a person tells their side of it because like I said earlier, this is no longer hearsay.
And that's the thing, these celebrities always want to get angry at the bloggers, the vloggers, the tabloid, the paparazzi for revealing these things, and they try to hide from it. It's better to go on and come out and address it and say something instead of tucking your head in the dirt, pretending as though it's not happening. Because when you stick your head in the dirt, only thing you end up is ass out.
This is not gossip or rumor. This is real life. So, Shirley, you can continue.
All right. So I was telling you how I found out that he was in jail. I got a call from the jail, and I didn't answer it because I'm like, who would be calling me from jail? I looked at my phone like, jail? Where'd this call? It just didn't compute. So I just ignored it. But he got word to me through one of his friends. They texted me that he was at Fulton County Jail. So the next time he called, I picked up, and that was him that had called earlier from jail. And he told me what happened. I thought he would be getting out in a couple of days because that's what he told me. But of course, here we are a year later. Those days turned into weeks. The weeks turned into months. And like I said, this is just on and on. Every day is just something. And my life has just been a nightmare ever since. And it's still going on, Steve. I mean, I had no idea that those be released to the world. I knew that they were being recorded, but I didn't know that they were going to go out to the world. I mean, I was just trying to make conversation with him, trying to, just get him to think about something other than where he was. I was telling him about my day, this particular day, and that was the day we were talking about, on the phone when I said those things about you and the things that you heard and the world heard. And cut to today, I haven't spoken to him in quite some time. Divorce proceedings are underway. And Steve, at this point, all I could say is what I have is my faith. If it wasn't for God, I probably would have, lost my mind or something in this instance. People don't see what happens when these mics go off. Who wants their personal stuff, their private conversations to go out to public? No one wants that. I mean, what could I say to you after this, happened? I was devastated. I mean, absolutely devastated. I mean, I thought of everything, I could lose my job. How could I face you? Everything, what I'm going through is what I'm going.
You wait a minute, pause, rewind. Like I said, I'm not no preacher or anything like that. But listen how she's saying this to Steve. How can I face you? How can I I could get fired. I could lose my job. There's somebody much more important, that someone greater than Steve that you're going to have to face one day, Shirley. And I'm speaking to everybody else too. There's someone greater than Steve that you're going to have to face one day. And you need to really question, how are you going to face that person? Because these celebrities, they will come out and say things and put on performances and put on shows, and they're good actors. Look at when Jussie Smollett, he was caught doing what he was doing, how he put on a show and how he was crying and I fought back, and it was nothing but a hoax. So, I mean, you could fool a couple of audience members. Some audience members aren't going to be fooled. Some people are going to believe you. Some people aren't going to believe you. But you know who isn't fooled? The Most High. He's never fooled. So it doesn't matter what Steve says, what display they put on, what they say, and this and that and so forth and so on. He's not fooled. He knows what's in your heart, mind, and soul. He knows what you've been doing. You know, so when she's saying all of this, I hope that she's taking those steps of realizing what people have been trying to say. No, nobody likes being critiqued or criticized. But sometimes criticism is harsh, and sometimes it's polite and soft. But we all need a reality check because none of us is perfect and everybody falls short. So it seems like when her material possessions and her little sexual healing doctor got into trouble with the law and things were being taken away from her, she was being stripped bare. That's when, oh my gosh. But when, he's violating their marriage, having your mistress live next door and running around with all these different women, she was okay with that. But yet she has God's name all up in her mouth. But you stood before the Lord and promised to be faithful and to have and to hold and all of this other stuff, this man. But yet you're allowing him to fornicate and you guys are committing fraud and he's abusing your daughter and, all of this other stuff. I mean, running around with child porn and, it's like, you got God's name on one side of your mouth and the devil's name on the other side of your mouth. One side of your tongue has God on it. The other side of your tongue has the devil on it. This woman is thoroughly confused, but she's like a lot of people out here. But
let's cut to today. I haven't spoken to him in quite some time. Divorce proceedings are underway. And Steve, at this point, all I could say is what I have is my faith. If it wasn't for God, I probably would have, lost my mind or something in this instance. People don't see what happens when these mics go off. Who wants their personal stuff, their private conversations to go out to public? No one wants that. I mean, what could I say to you after this, happened? I was devastated. I mean, absolutely devastated. I mean, I thought of everything, I could lose my job. How could I face you? Everything, what I'm going through is what I'm going through, and I've been going through it for over a year. I just haven't spoken about it. Then on top of all that, these tapes come out and, I'm talking about you and Marjorie and you guys are going through your own private hell right now. You didn't need me to contribute to anything, and I thought back, cause I knew I had to say something, speak on, you created this term years ago in Los Angeles called reality radio. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is about as real as it gets, Sure. And the reason I'm here before you now, I wanted to say it live on the radio, is because your name is in it. We've been friends for a long time, Steve, and these jail calls were made public, and I wanted to give you and Marjorie a public apology and to ask for your forgiveness publicly. I just wanted to have a real moment with you. And, I have to tell you, I've been coming to work every day because, it's my only safe haven right now. It gave me a place where I could still be myself and forget my troubles for a little while, and just, do my job. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you, of course, Steve, Tommy, Junior, and of course my girl Carla, for the space and the grace that you guys have shown me. This is a very difficult time in my life, if you can imagine. I love you guys. We're family, and I thank you. And I just want to thank everyone. I'm just trying to live. I'm sorry for what you and your wife are going through right now in your life. And I hate your names were dragged into my drama because you certainly don't deserve it. That's it.
Well, Shirley, let me say this. First of all, what's happening to me and Marjorie, I'm going to address that. But let me say this, though. The devil is busy. The devil is busy. And the devil don't come for those he got. He sends those that he has. So now, with all that's going on around us right now, what I do understand, though, see, this jailhouse conversation you had was last year in October 2022. But the devil know how to pile on at the right time. So this tape that was made in October 2022 gets released right on the heels of all of this to just pile on some more. And I guess you say, you know, it was recorded because, you know, when everybody get that phone call, who ain't had that phone call? Fulton County, we please know yourself phone call. This phone call is being recorded. We come back, we'll address some more. But this strawberry letter look like it's about to be the 9 o'clock hour. So
the bottom line is, you know, Steve's saying that the devil is busy. When has he not ever been busy? I've never known for him to take a break. Have you? Have you ever known the devil to take a break? And, you know, he's trying to say that it's some plot or something like that from the devil that these tapes are being released right on the heels of Big Boom coming out with his allegations against he and Marjorie and the divorce rumors and things like that and so forth and so on. And, you know, the bottom line is, it is what it is. You know, this thing has been going on about Shirley Strawberry for a while now. So the fact that the tapes were cleared and is able to be released, it is what it is. There have been a lot of things going on about Steve for a while now. It is what it is. I think that the best of the best plotter and planners is the Lord himself. So, I mean, if things happen to come out, it's because you hit a big wall, all of you, and you need to address these things because you hit that brick wall, because the Lord is trying to let you know that you need to start walking the right way. It doesn't matter what you're saying to the public, and the devil can quote the scriptures backward and forward. It doesn't matter what you're presenting to the public. It matters who you really truly are and what you're doing. No, we don't see what it's like when the camera stopped rolling and the microphone stopped rolling. We don't see that. The Lord does. And so when we hit a brick wall in life, that means pause, reflect. Something you're doing is not right, and you need to address it. Because, like I said, you can gain the whole world and lose your soul. So maybe the Lord needed to take away her mind. Maybe the Lord needed to take away her car. Maybe the Lord needed to take away her house. Maybe the Lord needed to threaten her fame and her job in order to wake her up. Because the devil can't do nothing that God doesn't allow. So the devil's licking his lips ready to kick your fucking ass if you don't do what you're supposed to do. Because he knows that he can't do it without God stepping back and letting him do it. And so we're going to listen further in the tape how Steve talks about how he's so blessed and the chosen and this and that and all and all of this other stuff. I'm not fazed by that shit at all. Because all of us are chosen. All of us are favored. But that doesn't mean that there's not a lesson that you need to learn. That doesn't mean that you need to be humble. And a lot of times these people get money, or they're around celebrities, or they're celebrities themselves, and they get their noses all up in the air, and they think that they could do anything and get away with anything, be it right or wrong morally. And they have a way of their face getting yanked back down to that ground and letting them know, bow down. It doesn't matter what you accomplish or gain in this world. You are not God. So yeah, you're going to hit a brick wall. And yeah, people are going to be out talking. Because that's just what we do.
We'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after. My name headlines the stuff. And so Shirley, when it came out, she called right away, apologized and everything. And so I understand that. And Shirley didn't want her mess to become our mess. Let me say this to you, Shirley. We have known about this right after it happened.
Right.
But we can't get in nobody's marriage and just go, girl, what you doing? What you thinking? What you feeling?
We didn't want to say nothing.
Right. They didn't want to say nothing.
We didn't want to talk
because
about it.
We didn't want to talk about it, and we wanted to create for you a space where you could come to work and have some moments, because I know what it's like.
And you did.
To get beaten and eaten alive. And so it became, for us, let's just be there for her. And when you want to tell us, you will tell us.
Yeah.
When you're ready. Now, good thing you had Monica, Mississippi Monica, who has been with you this whole ride. You did confide in her. Mm-hmm. So Monica would keep us posted, but until you wanted to invite us in, we were just left over here as a support system. And so we were just, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but can I just say this? I look at you guys as my family, you know? We all are family. You know, a lot of times there was a time when we saw each other more than we saw our actual families. And, you know, it was just so hard for me I'm a private person, you know, but we all have our stuff. We talk afterwards. We're friends. It was just hard for me to bring this particular thing up. I was just so embarrassed, you know, and humiliated. And I just felt like a fool. I felt so stupid. And, you know, I couldn't. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it. I just couldn't find the words. And that's,
you know, and that's why I think that she needs therapy. She needs professional help. A lot of people frown upon therapy like it's some stigma attached to it. You need a professional, trained, licensed therapist. Sometimes just talking to family or friends is not enough with what you're going through. That reminds me of this guy I knew that had pneumonia. And he was sick, and he was trying to heal himself at home with some old folk tale remedies and NyQuil and vitamin C and all of this. Anyway, one day I came to the room and he was on the floor, sweating with the fan on. And so you know, he was saying that his chest hurt and this and that. So I ended up getting my stethoscope and I listened to his chest and I heard gurgling sounds around his heart. And, you know, me being a nurse, I know I'm not supposed to hear gurgling sounds. Even though the heart is pumping blood, it's supposed to have a swoosh or, you know, it doesn't have a gurgle sound. And so I insisted that he go to the hospital. Child, by the end of the night, he was intubated in a coma. And had he not come into the hospital, he would have died. He ended up staying in the hospital for about 3 months. He was in a coma for a month because he had a viral pneumonia. And, you know, my point is, sometimes you need a professional. You don't need a home cure, because the human mind is very complex. And if you are doing things like allowing yourself to be repeatedly abused, or allow your children to be violated and things like that, is something going on with you where you're not protecting. That's not natural instinct. That's not a natural instinct for you to not want to protect yourself. And somewhere along the way, you've learned to be passive and submissive when it comes to abuse, and you need to get professional help. And I'm totally serious. I know sometimes I joke around or I say things in a harsh way, but I'm really serious right now. And I really hope that if there's one person out there that can be motivated to get some professional therapy for whatever issues they're going through, addictions, whether it's addiction to abusive people or addictions to substances, whether you don't exert yourself the way you should, just get some therapy. If you've gone through trauma or abuse, go on and get some sort of help, because you need it and you're worth it, and you are worthy of good things and good people in your life that's going to treat you good. You are worthy of that. You're worthy of someone treating you good. Okay? You're not someone that deserves to be hurt. You don't deserve that. And I listen to Shirley Strawberry, and yes, I've said before, I don't particularly like women like her. I don't like women like her because there are a lot of women that I've known growing up like her that really, was craving the affection of a man so much that they just totally neglected their own children, or allowed men to come into their life to emotionally, sexually, or physically abuse their children. And it isn't right. So get help. Anyway, back to the show.
The honest to God's truth. I just couldn't come to you guys. If you had come to me, I would have opened up, but I understand, but I couldn't. It was too much. It was just too much for me.
She didn't want to come to them because she didn't want their honest opinion. And if there is family like she's saying they would have told her their honest opinion. Girl, you need to get rid of this man. You need to divorce. And she wasn't ready to hear that back then. So sometimes we keep secrets because we don't want somebody that care about us to tell us the truth.
At that time,
Okay. Shirley, we get it. Hang on. This strawberry letter's been extended. This is important, y'all. We'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Too much. It was just...
Marjorie is on baby watch right now. We got another apology to me and my wife. And I wanted to make you all aware of the timing of it. My wife and me, we've been getting beat up for the past 2 weeks. But when something like this happens, our motto has always been to never address bloggers.
Right.
And we don't give it no room or Steve.
No life.
No, nothing. Cause we know who we are and we know whose we are. And so we don't address bloggers. When this came out, it's a little bit different because it's not gossip, rumor, or malicious lie. It came from the inside circle. Because we're an inside circle. We are family. Mm-hmm. And so when it came out, Marjorie is on baby watch right now. We got another grandchild coming, and the baby's due any minute, so Marjorie's over there on baby watch. She's just doing grandmama duties. And Marjorie don't really get into all this right here. And so I didn't really, look, I'm so used to getting beat up, but I didn't know how Marjorie was feeling about everything that's out there. Because these bottom feeders are just beating my wife up. And even though we've made a conscious effort and we said we're not going to address it, I'm tired of it. And so when this came out, this how the devil worked. I'm going to pile it on. I'm going to go get somebody that worked for me. Because one more time, God don't come. The devil don't come for those he got. He sends the ones he has. So now I'm going to get.
I would disagree with that because the devil comes to collect his dues. And we have to remember he's not doing nothing that the Most High is not aware of and cannot stop and block anytime he chose. So, I mean, you know, I think Steve needs to leave the preaching to somebody who really knows what it's all about. But I know from what I'm hearing, from what he's saying, is that it is what it is. I believe he's saying how he feels and how he believes, and cool, we all got opinions. He want to call people bottom feeders and this and that and so forth and so on. Whatever. You know, you put shit out there, people are going to talk about it. And for you to sit there and pretend as though you don't talk about shit that you see and hear, get the fuck out of here, Steve. You talk about shit too. So you're not fooling me. The things are coming out the way they're coming out is because you two needed to hit a brick wall. There's something that you're doing in your lives that isn't right. And you had to hit that brick wall. Now, does the Lord sometimes use the devil to make you hit the wall? Does the Lord sometimes use the devil and unleash him and let him huff and puff and blow all the shit down? Sure he does. But the bottom line is, I didn't know Jesus was coming back as some big fat black man with a big woolly mustache. Bald head. I didn't know Jesus was coming back like that. Some big, tall, bald-headed, fat black man with a woolly mustache and full bubble lips. I didn't know. I did not know.
Me, an employee that needs some money, that work in Fulton County, maybe watch, she's just doing grandmama duty. And Margie don't really get into all this right here. And so I didn't really, you know, look, I'm so used to getting beat up, but I didn't know how Margie was feeling about everything that's out there. Because these bottom feeders are just beating my wife up. And even though we've made a conscious effort and we said we're not going to address it, I'm tired of it. And so when this came out, this how the devil worked. I'm going to pile it on. I'm going to go get somebody that worked for me. Because one more time, God don't come. The devil don't come for those he got. He sends the ones he has. So now I'm going to get me an employee that needs some money, that work in Fulton County. I'm going to get a hold of him. I'm going to release these tapes. I'm going to get him to need a little bit of money. I'm going to give it to this female blogger, and she going to get a little bit of money, and now I'm going to soak him. But the timing of it was ugly because of everything else that's going on right now. And it made it look like Shirley was piling on. And that wasn't her intent, but it happened. Like I say, I understand. The part I'm coming with now is because it's been so ugly for my wife, man.
Right.
And see, this is what I've never done before.
Okay.
It's been so ugly for my wife. And
right.
I've stood there trying not to say nothing, but I'm not a blog.
Okay.
Me, Shirley, Carla, Tommy, Mississippi Jr., we ain't a blog. We're a real media platform.
Okay.
And I don't know if you all know what it's like to wake up every morning that we get up, and our job and mission is to brighten your day. And it don't matter how dark our day is. We got the job to be the morning show.
Right.
And we got to put on the show. And Tommy come in here with Junior come in here off a crisis with sickle cell. Tommy come in here with bad news. Tommy get hit with cancer. Shirley going through her life right here. Carla got a whole family over here.
Okay. And let me tell you what I have to put up when I get up every day. Working as a nurse in healthcare. And I don't got all the fame and the fortune. I got to get up whether I'm tired, whether I got things going on in my home or not. I got to see other people coming in there. They got things going on. And we're there working to help save people's lives and to help the sick and the disabled. Those that are old who can't take care of themselves anymore. People who are on hospice care that are dying of terminal diseases. We're dealing with that. On top of the fact that we have things going on in our personal lives and bills to pay, and we don't got that kind of cushion and money to fall back on. So you get to go to a radio show and talk shit on the microphone. Boo-hoo. Boo motherfucking who. There are people out here driving the buses. There are people out here standing in front of the chalkboard teaching the kids. There are people out here who I've known who have cancer that are still getting up going to work. There are people I know whose back is breaking and they're still getting up going to work, doing all kinds of things. So welcome to the real world, Steve Harvey and crew. Welcome to the real world. Yes, you gotta get up and you gotta keep pushing on. And that's what bottom feeders, as you call people, that's what we do every day to make the motherfucking world go around. Why? Because we built like that and that's what we did.
Everybody got crosses to bear. But we got to come in here anyway, and we got to be the morning show. In spite of what's happening in our life, when it ain't funny or fun or inspirational or motivational or informative at all, we just in here trying to make it. So I get it. So what I'm about to do now is clear up a few things. And you know, the comment that came out, it was untimely. You know, but that's why we don't have people in our house. That's why that's why a whole lot of stuff we don't do. But when I come back, we'll be back, and my fat wheezing ass will straighten all this out.
Stop. I said I was sorry.
But I just want to be clear about that. I just want my fat wheezing ass going up these steps. I'm going to be back. I'm not going to let that go.
You were winded, though.
Well, you sorry all you want. Hell, that's what I heard.
Our Steve Harvey Morning Show.
But she got to be tired.
Change their life and keep that weight off for good. Not only will you lose up to 30
doing to her. I don't like the timing of this jailhouse release because it just seemed like it added more and it came from the inside. I'm tired, but she got to be tired. The woman I married is a good woman. She the best thing ever happened to me. She's God-fearing. She's loyal. She's faithful. And she's a kind and loving person. I don't care what nobody says. And y'all quit talking about she was in my other marriage and ruined it. She didn't. She was nowhere around that. My marriage, I got divorced in 2005. My marriage was over when the Kings of Comedy was out. Y'all ain't know that though, did you? It was over then. It took us this long to get to the divorce. That's when the official paperwork came out. But in 2005, let me hip you to something. I had nothing. I lost the radio show we were on in L.A. on March 23rd, and I lost the only TV show I had, May 10th. Steve Harvey had no money. Got with Marjorie again, New Year's Eve, met her, talked to her. She was with her kids in Hawaii. We got together in 2006. We had nothing. She didn't marry into no lap of riches. I had nothing. When I asked her to marry me at the end of 2006, and then she said she wanted to get married in 2007. I told her too soon. I got to get some stuff together. She said, what? I said, baby, I ain't really got nothing. I'm trying to build. She said, I'm going to get in there and build with you. We got married in 2000. You know what I was doing in 2007? Nothing. We had 4 stations in 2005. 4. We built this. All of us built this. We had 4 stations. We turned this into something. But that woman got down in that foxhole with me and turned this into something. In 2007, we got married. In 2008, we found out that somebody had stolen 7 years of my tax returns. I ain't gonna mention no name. And we owed the government $22 million and we in debt. But then guess what? She stayed with me in that. Then guess what? In 2009, I got Family Feud. In 2009, the book came out. In 2012, the talk show came out. I'm telling you, this woman got in the hole and built this with me. She didn't steal nothing. And I'm tired of y'all talking about my girl. Because my girl is one of the best women I've ever met. And why you black ass people out there got these blogs like you just gonna destroy somebody, I don't really know what that's about. But don't worry about it because it ain't working. Because all we are now, we are a tighter two-handed circle. Thank you for doing that. And you're not going to split us up. And we're not going nowhere. And she is none of what you said she is. And she the best chick I know. Now, I'm defending her. And you can feel how you want to feel about that. That's the God in me. But now, let me give you one piece of Steve Harvey.
Well, if she helped him build all that, then she definitely is entitled to half of it if they ever do get divorced. Now, you heard it straight out of his mouth. She's the one that helped him build all of it, so she definitely is entitled to half of it. But the bottom line is where there's smoke, there's fire. Steve can say whatever he wants to say in their marriage, and no marriage is perfect. But the bottom line is him sitting and insulting everybody and black ass people and this and that and all this other stuff and looking down on people. Well, guess what? We looking down on you too.
I see your ass.
We'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
All of us built this. We had 4 stations. We turned this into something. But that woman got down in that foxhole with me and turned this into something. In 2007, we got married. In 2008, we found out that somebody had stolen 7 years of my tax returns. I ain't gonna mention no name. And we owed the government $22 million and we in debt. But then guess what? She stayed with me in that. Then guess what? In 2009, I got Family Feud. In 2009, the book came out. In 2012, the talk show came out. I'm telling you, this woman got in the hole and built this with me. She didn't steal nothing. And I'm tired of y'all talking about my girl. Because my girl is one of the best women I've ever met. And why you black ass people out there got these blogs like you just gonna destroy somebody, I don't really know what that's about. But don't worry about it because it ain't working. Because all we are now, we are a tighter two-handed circle. Thank you for doing that. And you're not going to split us up. And we're not going nowhere. And she is none of what you said she is. And she the best chick I know. Now, I'm defending her. And you can feel how you want to feel about that. That's the God in me. But now, let me give you one piece of Steve Harvey. If I see your ass.
We'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
What you gonna do,
Steve Harvey Morning Show?
What you gonna do? Who gonna check me, boo? Cause it's certainly not you.
I don't know.
It's certainly not
radio.
You.
All right, we're back. Here's the deal. I'm gonna do a list of facts. My wife asked me not to do it because she said, Steve, all them haters gonna do is flip anything you say and reverse it. Well, you're doing it anyway. And you out there just lying about my girl. And you tearing away at her character. And I don't like what you're doing to her. I don't like the timing of this jailhouse release because it just seemed like it added more and it came from the inside. I'm tired, but she got to be tired. The woman I married is a good woman. She the best thing ever happened to me. She's God-fearing. She's loyal. She's faithful. And she's a kind and loving person. I don't care what nobody said. And y'all quit talking about she was in my other marriage and ruined it. She didn't. She was nowhere around that. My marriage, I got divorced in 2005. My marriage was over when the Kings of Comedy was out. Y'all ain't know that though, did you?
We got that right. We got that right.
You know what I'm saying?
This morning before I came to work, actually. Time to getting on your nerves. You said it before you opened the mic. All these damn pictures he's sending. Lord. Ooh.
Another fish.
You know, man, Carla's right. Tommy's right. Nobody wants their private thoughts, bro.
Come on, man.
Nobody. Do you know what would happen if any of us had our private thoughts and private conversations aired? Lord,
yeah, I do.
We wouldn't have no damn. We wouldn't have a morning show. Y'all show wouldn't have a job out there. I just think that everybody. We don't live in a world that's forgiving anymore.
Not at all.
We don't live in a kind world anymore. We live in a fallen world. But we do have a lot of huge fans on this show. And we do understand that there's a lot of people who love us. The problem, and I've said it 100 times, is hate is louder than love. But love is stronger. And we all gonna have to learn that lesson. And as much as I want to get out there and change things, and as much as I wish people would stand up and back me more, that ain't the world we live in. We live in a social media climate, and everybody's idea is to tear somebody down to get clicks. And we're just not going to sit here and let you click this sister's life away. And I'm not going to sit here no longer and let you destroy my wife's image and character. It's hard. And we need each other to support each other to show.
You know, he could give this speech all he wants. But the bottom line is, just because you're being criticized doesn't mean that someone hates you, is hating on you, or this or that. You're not perfect. You are not perfect. So if someone is and neither is your wife, it doesn't matter how much you bow down, kiss her ass, love her, or anything like that. She's not perfect either. So if she has a problem with sleeping with other men, and that's your marriage, and nobody's trying to separate the two of you, that has to be a decision that the two of you make. But there are plenty of marriages that have survived infidelity. There are plenty of marriages who have survived a person that had a sexual addiction and they got therapy and got over it. So if you want to stick in your marriage, I think that's wonderful. Too many people throw in the towel in their relationships. I would agree. Stick in it. Stick to it. But you sitting up there saying all this and that to the public doesn't mean anything. It's about what's reality. You don't need to save face for the public. And when everybody was dragging Shirley, it's because she needed to be drugged. Wake up, honey child. You know? And Steve, if you're saying that your wife is this and that and so forth and so on, if she is running around having sex with other men, and then you want to put God in your mouth in the next sentence, that don't go hand in hand. That don't go hand in hand. And a lot of people say, well, men in the Bible had many different wives and and all of this other stuff. I mean, the bottom line is, I don't believe that the Lord created man and woman to be together in marriage for them to be running around sharing their bodies with other people outside of the marriage. So you can get on this speech and all of this. You know, the problem with these people is they expect praise and worship. Steve is expecting praise and worship. People aren't going to praise and worship you. When you do something that people will applaud, they will applaud. They will pat you on the back. When you do something that people don't like, they will say something too. Who the fuck are you to think that nobody's supposed to criticize you? Because you on a morning show? Because you celebrity? Because you got some money in the bank? Nobody's supposed to criticize you or say anything about you? We all supposed to bow down and praise you? Get the fuck out of here. Just because you're in love with Marjorie, we're supposed to not have anything to say? We're gonna say something. Because unlike what you philosophize, that hate is louder than love. No, love is louder than hate. Love is stronger than hate. Love lasts longer than hate. So if I criticize you, it's because I care. If I don't criticize you, it's because I don't give a fuck. And the reason why I'm doing these videos is because there's not a motherfucking thing you people are going through that there aren't other people out here in the world going through. Hooking up with an ex-con who didn't change his ways and getting married, putting him over your children when he's molesting them or doing different things that he shouldn't be doing, cheating with you, on you, blatantly up in your face with somebody in your home or somebody in your neighborhood or something like that. You're not going through nothing that other people out here can't relate to. And that's why people talk about that, because it opens things up for discussion. We're all learning from each other. So what you're looking at is criticism and critique. It's a lesson for people to learn for themselves. And it's something for you to hit a brick wall so you can learn something yourself. Because there's not a motherfucking thing about any of you on this show that's higher or above anybody else out here in this world. You put your foot on the same ground that we all put our foot on. The same color blood runs through your veins as everybody else's. And the same creator we all are going to face one day. And we're all journeying on this earth at the same time for a reason, and we need to learn from each other. So while you're putting down all the bloggers and vloggers, this is a way of people reflecting in their own lives. Am I putting a man above my needs and my children? Do I need therapy? When people are looking at Shirley Strawberry, Shirley Sherl, and what she's going through, you better believe a lot of women out here are reflecting on things about their own life. When men who are so desperately in love with a woman is looking at their wives that they know is cheating on them and doing different things to them, you better believe when they hear your story and hear things about what's going on with you, Steve, they're reflecting on themselves and what they're doing. So it's not all about you when people are reporting on these stories.
No love. Now, look, man, do I expect this to change anything? Probably not. But you know what? At least it feel good to say your piece. Sometimes, man, you just want to be able to say to show love. Now, look, man, do I expect this to change anything? Probably not. But you know what? At least it feel good to say your piece. Sometimes, man, Junior, for Tommy, for Monica, there's nothing you can do about it. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You know what's really crazy, man?
You know what weapon, when people say that, it's just like, give me a break. Because the weapon formed against you that will prosper is the true word. Because you can see people get out there and they can really put on a show and they are lying through their teeth. They know they're not living right. They just don't want other people to see it. So all this shit that Steve is talking, I think he's just full of shit. He's saying he's caught up in the moment. He's ad-libbing, you know what I mean? He knows that he's not living right. He knows it. Shirley knew that she wasn't living right. She knows that she wasn't living right. So they can sit and talk all this crap all they want, but that's all that it is. And having God on one side of the tongue and then Satan on the other side of their tongue.
Do you know really how YouTube and all this stuff works? Do you know how many tens of thousands of clicks you have to get to make 3 to 5 cents? Do you know how many millions of views you got to have to make thousands of dollars? But here what happened. When y'all jump on that danger tam down trail and you post your video, what y'all do to each other is y'all cannibalize each other. So if y'all would just leave that one video, everybody would have to go there to see it. And that person could profit. But now y'all take it like y'all did your music and you spread it on your site. Now a person can go anywhere and get it. Now guess what? Now ain't nobody getting 1 million views. So don't nobody profit.
He sounds so fucking stupid. So if there's an explosion downtown, the three new major news stations that's here in my city, only one of them is supposed to cover it because they want everybody to just watch that one show. The reason why it's on different social media platforms when they talk about these particular topics is because people are looking to see other people's perspectives on the story. They want to hear other people's takes, other people's stories. So there are plenty of people out here who's not even making any money. They just like doing what they do on YouTube or other social media platforms, TikTok or whatever. They like discussing things. They like talking about things. It's a hobby for them. They have their day jobs. They have other things that they're doing. It's a hobby. For myself, it's a hobby. I'm a nurse. I have my own life to live. I do these things because I want to do them. It's an outlet for me. It's a way of me connecting with people in the world so we can discuss certain topics. What Shirley's going through is nothing that a lot of women out here aren't going through. So it opens up an opportunity for people to discuss it. The things you're going through, Steve, in your relationship is nothing from a lot of men is going through, where people feel that they're simps or that they may actually be simps or that they're putting a woman on a pedestal like she's goddess or something like that, and she's running around, hoeing around. So the bottom line is these things are public discussion because you're public figures. But these are not public problems because a lot of people are going through these things in their personal lives. So it is coming out into the public so people can discuss those things. And if you got a problem with that, you never should have become a celebrity.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I just wish, man, that we as a people would get out the hate business, because the hate business don't pay. I don't know if y'all been watching real close, but if you look at anybody out there that's been in the hate business, that don't look real good right now. I don't know if you noticed that. Listen, y'all, there's a motivational speaker named George White, and this dude, he released something that has kept me, and I play it to myself every day. I'm going to play this. This is George White, a motivational speaker.
Yeah. If you want to listen to the rest, I'll leave a link below. So comment below if you're so motivated to do so. This is Wonders of a Black Woman. I just want to wrap this up with a bow. The bottom line is I am glad that Shirley Strawberry and Steve Harvey was man and woman enough to come on out and talk about these things. I do think that if Shirley had not separated herself from Ernesto, she wanted to still stick it out with him, it would have been nice for Steve Harvey to sit her aside on that show and bring in guest hosts to fill in her position while she takes her hiatus from the show. Because I would like to have seen some different female comics and stuff like that come on in. Like I said, on my way to work, if I'm going Monday through Friday, because we carpool, there are other people in the car that like listening to this particular show, even though we do not hear the whole thing, because obviously it does not take us this whole entire show to get to where we're going, but we do have it on, so we do hear the show occasionally. Look, I'm going to wrap this up by saying none of us out here are perfect. None of us out here are perfect, and we all face different temptations, including celebrities, including people with money and stuff like that. In fact, you may face even more temptations. But the bottom line is, talking about these things helps people to reflect not only on the celebrity's life, because we don't personally know you, but it allows us to reflect on our own lives and our own situations and people that we personally know that may be going through something similar. So instead of trying to run around and pretend as though you're some bald-headed, hairy, big, fluffy mustache Jesus Christ that came back to this world, why don't you have some sort of humility? And sometimes it's not the devil that's putting a brick wall in front of you. It's the Lord himself that's allowing that brick wall to come in front of you in your journey so you can hit up against it and hit up against it hard. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And be humble. Peace.